What's up, everybody? Welcome to Nerdy Boys Reviews. We're your hosts. I'm Nerdy Boy Christian.
And I'm Nerdy Boy Scott.
And this is Nerdy Boys Reviews, your nerd podcast where we talk about the latest and greatest and nerdy news and everything else. So, spoiler warning, not spoiler, explicit content warning. Material on this podcast may not be suitable for all listeners of all ages, so you have been warned. What's up, dude?
Dun, dun, dun. What's up, my dude?
It's been a while.
It's everything is forgiven for the little blunder, you know. Everyone knows I'm the intro expert here.
Exactly.
That only ever takes me like 30 takes to do. But nonetheless, I am the expert.
Right.
And we haven't done this in a while, so you're forgiven.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Not a long time. Like a month or like over a month.
It feels like it's been so much longer than that, though.
Yeah.
It's really hard, guys. Life is not easy when you get older and you gain a lot more responsibilities. And yeah.
True.
I mean, it sounds like excuses, which they kind of are. But nonetheless, you know, life has been very busy for me.
Yeah?
What? Yeah. So I'll tell you guys all about that right now. right this second, guys. So I've actually started some separate projects outside of Nerdy Boys Reviews on YouTube. Two of them, to be exact. One is a vlog series that follows my weight loss journey. Kind of got the inspiration just to make more content. I've always been very, very interested in making content, whether it be on Twitch.tv, whether it be through podcasting. You know, obviously, Nerdy Boys Reviews and doing it for like 1,000 years now.
Yeah, 6 years almost. Well, 6 years this month.
Oh, Jesus. That's the anniversary, bro. Because I'm sure we won't do this podcast for like another 2 months. No, we'll try to stay as current as we possibly can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other podcast is an idea. Oh wait, sorry. Let me finish my thought on the weight loss channel. So, you know, obviously, as you guys know, I've always been a bigger guy and I want to lose weight and stuff. And I thought, what an interesting way to create content and achieve a goal at the same time by making a vlog series following my weight loss, you know, thoughts throughout the week, doing workouts, eating stuff and whatnot. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know, I just kind of hope I can help inspire somebody out there that felt like maybe they couldn't do it. And like, I don't want to say like in a negative sort of way, but if they like watch it and they feel inspired in a positive type of way and they're like, wow, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So that's kind of like the mission behind my channel. So, and even if I just only like help one person, I'll be happy. Yeah. And then the other channel is it's a NBA Sacramento Kings fan channel. I got the idea off of on YouTube. There's a lot of for English football or soccer, as us uncultured Americans know it as. They have a lot of fan channels, and I follow some very, very successful ones. So I have like a pretty good idea of an outline, and the idea kind of came about. I've been watching these channels for years. And, like, I've always thought they were so cool, and I wish I could be, like, involved in them and stuff, but I don't really know how to be involved in them. So that, along with, I started trying to get into sports cards, which I'll go into that in a minute. But I joined a Discord group, and, we started talking about basketball. And, I'm just talking. I'm just, so, passionate about it. And it just clicked in my head. I was like, why don't we start like a Sacramento Kings fan channel? There's not one out there. There's not a whole lot of Kings fans. I mean, there are a lot of Kings fans, but it's not like a popular organization, you know? So I was like, the market's there. It's wide open. I was like, I don't know of any like NBA fan channels like that. I was like, could be an opportunity. I live in the actual city that the organization is at. So, after games, I could go down and interview fans.
Right.
Win or lose, interview them and get their thoughts. And, I've always loved the format of the fan channels, it really feels like you get to be a part of like a really cool community. That channel is going to be a work in progress. I have a lot of ideas for it, and like I won't be like consistently uploading at first, but like as I go on and as I figure out some of my ideas for the channel, I will be doing more and more and more. But at the time, for the time being, right now, my weight loss channel is really my primary focus.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I did, for both of them, I published both introduction videos, kind of explaining what the channel is all about and all that stuff. Then for my weight loss one, I just published the first actual episode, like 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah, dude. Editing that long of a video is very rough, dude.
Yeah.
Editing that long of a video is very rough, and even more rough when you're doing it on a broken cell phone.
I can imagine. Editing in general is kind of a pain in the butt most of the time, so I mean
even on like a fully functioning non-cracked screen would be presented challenges, but the fact that there's like a middle like horizontal like bar right in the middle of my phone.
Jeez.
Not a visual bar, but like it's just like imagine like a little bar. That little section doesn't like I can't touch that little section.
Oh, so a bunch of
phone.
pixels
It's
are
really,
dead on your phone.
Yeah, dude, it's just like there's like that one little spot. So then I always have to sit there and like rotate the phone and try to edit that way. I'm just like such a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah.
And then not to mention when you have, you know, a full-time job and you have a relationship and you have a, you know, a child, like, dude, trying to find time to edit, oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if like
is a hassle in itself, dude.
I don't know if our listeners have noticed, but I never edit our podcasts, and they're like an hour to 2 hours most of the time. And yeah,
Right.
I don't edit them, and it's not necessarily because I don't have the time, which you know I could make the time if I needed to. I just don't edit them because I don't know, it's more organic if we're just talking most of the time. But videos you have to edit, of course. So
right, yeah, because so when you guys hear us say like and different things like that, that's just like the organic talk within us. It's not edited in any kind of way. And like when you see those videos and you're like, wow, they were so well spoken or whatever. Probably not most of the time. Like it's probably really chopped up and edited.
right.
All those little dead silences. Like.
Yeah, it was.
So,
it's funny because like when we first started podcasting, we got like feedback from a couple different people, and some people were like, "Oh, edit out all the likes and the ums and stuff, and like there's so much dead noise." And then other people were like, "Oh, you know, the dead noise is good because you know it makes it seem more real." And it's like different people like different things anyway. But
right, yeah.
with podcasting, I think it's much different than because it's like a long form like conversation than videos, which are obviously pre-recorded and pre-planned.
Right, and I've been really into like studying like what makes YouTubers like successful and stuff. And like one of the biggest like things is that you have to capitalize on your time. You can't waste time with like a lot of things. And because of that, you know, because most people have a really short attention span, and the longer like your content drags on and doesn't move, like people just lose interest.
Right.
But podcasting is totally different just because people are expecting to listen to something for like long periods of time.
Right.
Most YouTube videos are like anywhere from like 3 minutes to like 15, 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah, most people listen to podcasts while they're driving or while they're working or while they're doing something else. Like people aren't just sitting there like engaging like directly with the podcast necessarily. Whereas with videos, most people are watching because they're bored or they're laying in bed or like, you know, they're trying to find something to entertain themselves while they're doing nothing pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
So
pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that, and then work, and then some other things we can't really talk about at the moment, but I'm gonna tell you off
Okay, same. Well, I have something like, maybe a future announcement for the podcast, but I can't talk about it yet because things.
We're men of secret. We're in the CIA.
Things like can change quickly. So like, even though it's like, I got some news, like it might change in the next couple of days or weeks. You never know. So, it's one of those.
Tell me off air?
Maybe. I don't want to like get you excited though, and then things happen. So.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah,
I'm so intrigued. I'm sure the whole audience is so intrigued now.
Maybe.
They want to know both of our announcements.
Well,
I feel like mine is not. I mean, it's exciting for me, but like it's not going to be exciting for everyone else. But
yeah.
I'm sure yours is going to be exciting for everyone.
No, probably not. Probably not. I mean,
I feel like I might know what it pertains to, but oh well. Anyways, we move.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're doing your YouTube stuff. You have 2 videos, one introduction and one full video for your weight loss hero on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in that, just search on YouTube. Changes the filter to channels so you can find his channel, because if not, you'll just get a bunch of random videos. Right. So you can find the weight loss hero channel.
Right, and you'll know it's me because there's like a really horribly designed picture for the profile picture, and it's just like a green. It's a black background with green text and like white outlining, like shadowing and stuff. Yeah, that's me, and it's very like off-centered, and yeah, it's terrible.
Well, it can only get better,
like that,
right?
Dude, like editing and like stuff is so difficult when you can't do it on on a computer. And I have a fully functioning computer that's very, very good computer, but I don't have internet. So, like, doing it on my computer like would be impossible, I think. I don't even know how I'd get the files over from my phone to there, because I was thinking like a thumb drive or something, but that wouldn't work because obviously can't insert a thumb drive into it.
You'd have to get one of those like thumb drives that can switch between like the SD drive or whatever and the USB port. There's some that exist.
Yeah.
But,
that's just doing too much at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we podcasting about today?
Well, there's a lot, there's a lot that's been happening, obviously, since the last time we podcasted. The most important thing is the unfortunate early passing of Chadwick Boseman, who plays the Black Panther. I remember when this news broke, I was driving to Taco Bell, and my friend called me, and he told me, and I was like, dude, you're lying. There's no fucking way. Like how would Chadwick Boseman die? He's like 43, which is how old he actually was when he passed away. And and then I texted Scott right away to tell him as well, and it's like that shit's just so heartbreaking, like because of how amazing he was as an actor and how well he portrayed T'Challa and carried the weight of this amazing character, and in real life carried this weight of hiding that he had colon cancer, and that eventually progressed and killed him, and he continued to work until he died, and what a strong man he was.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, obviously, condolences go out to the Boseman family. Super tragic, dude. It was so unexpected. Like, when you text me that, like, I was so in disbelief. I was literally about to fucking just text you back like you're chatting shit. Like, there's no fucking way, dude. And then, like, my mind just started going to, like, a fear, like, how the hell did he die? Like, how did this happen? Like, was he killed? Like, what? Like, did he like die from COVID? Like, what the hell happened? I was so confused,
Right.
And then so I hop on the internet, obviously, and just like do the research, and then that's when I found out. I was like, he had cancer. I was like, did he even know? Like, I was like so confused. I was like, how did this happen, dude? And then, you just do more and more research, and the articles start to come out and stuff, and then you find out, he knew about this, 4 years ago.
Right.
And it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's still hard to, even, talk about, and it's, still like just disbelief, you know, that like one man could be so fucking strong to sit there and make this like amazing body of work, working through like ridiculous struggle, and like having the strength to not sit there and tell anybody because he wanted to live life on his own terms. And like, I just think it was just so amazing, dude.
Yeah, and you know, I think I read too, like he was convinced he was gonna beat it, and that's why he was taking on a lot of work and trying to like stay busy and everything else. And it's like, it's really unfortunate, obviously, that he didn't beat it, but you know, the fact that he just never told anybody and he carried this burden and was working hard to maintain a lifestyle is really incredible.
Right. And what I think is also equally incredible is the fact that it never leaked out of the studio, because it did come out that the studio knew about it. Yeah, I think that's really incredible. So I definitely want to say props to Disney, Marvel, everyone involved that was privy to like that secret into Chadwick Boseman's life and had that knowledge and still kept it like discreet, because one, I think it's kind of amazing that they hired him, because the sad fact is a lot of times, you know, people find that out and they might be like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but we can't keep you employed. You know what I mean? Like, we can't, like, we can't have you be this character that we're setting up for the future. You know, and that's just the harsh reality. I'm not saying that that's what I would do, but
yeah, I mean, it's Hollywood.
Like the harsh reality, like, yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's business, you know. So I think it's kind of amazing that they stuck with him. They kept his secret, gave him the dignity to lead his life how he wanted to on his terms, and not basically put his business out there, because let's be honest, like, his life probably would have been a shambles, you know. Like, you know, paparazzi didn't take 35 minutes, you know, just look at this, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that he got to live his life, like the last few years, just the way that he wanted to live them on his terms, and he got to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish with his body of work, and believe it was a lot, dude. And like, at first I didn't even realize just how much he did. Like, I knew about a few of the movies that he done, obviously Black Panther being primarily you know, Avengers and stuff like that.
Right.
And I did know about Jackie Robinson, but dude, he did like hella other movies too. And like, they were like all award-winning movies. I'm just like, it's like, now you got that knowledge, is just like even like more mind-blowing.
Right.
I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, he was.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say he was an incredible actor, and you know, we should appreciate him for what he was and for what he did. And you know, obviously people are starting to talk about, you know, how do we move on with Black Panther from here, but I don't think it's time to have that discussion yet.
Oh, dude, I'm so happy you brought that up. Dude, let me tell you, dude, not even 0.1 seconds later, dude, from that news, people were like, well, what's going to happen with the Black Panther character? Dude, and I'm not going to lie, I fucking lost my shit on a couple different people, dude. That made me so mad, dude. First off, if you're one of those people, how dare you, dude? How dare you, like, minimize another human being's life, dude? Like, seriously, like, how inconsiderate are you? You don't think that his family doesn't see that shit? You know, those comments and shit online, dude, and they're already struggling as is. And they're thinking about, how am I going to go on with my life without having, you know, my husband, my son, you know, I don't know if he had brothers or sisters, but, you know, my brother, or I don't even know if he had kids, to be honest. You know, their father if he did have kids, and you're sitting there talking about, oh, but what about the character?
Yeah, I mean,
He made that character, dude. Are you kidding me? Nobody knew who the fuck Black Panther was, to be honest. Like, I mean, if you're a comic book nerd, yes, you knew who Black Panther was. He's huge in comics. But outside of comic books, name me one game that he was in, bro. Name me, a TV show that he was in like that. Name me, like, nobody knew who he was, bro. He made that character, bro. And on a different level, like, I just think it's mad disrespectful that you're sitting there talking about how are we going to replace somebody that, quite frankly, is irreplaceable, bro. I'm not sitting there saying that we shouldn't at some point replace him, but there's a time and a place for that kind of discussion. And, like, days or within even weeks of it happening, you guys are sitting there trying to figure out what's going to happen with the MCU, bro. Really?
Yeah.
What about all the castmates that became their friend or their best friend? You know what I mean? And they just lost him, and you're talking about how are we going to replace him? Come on, dude.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like,
have a little respect.
That's their way of thinking. Like, I don't know if it's I don't know if I agree if it's like disrespectful. I think it's just like that's what some people immediately think of. It's because, oh, Black Panther meant so much to me watching that movie. Like, I don't want Disney to recast him, or I want this person to take up the mantle or whatever. Like, maybe that's how they're dealing with it. But yeah, I don't think that's the right time or place to do it. I agree with you.
I definitely agree. I'm not saying that the conversation of whether or not to pass the mantle on or just to recast him altogether shouldn't be a discussion at some point.
Right. But just not right now.
Just not right now, dude. Like, literally, I started seeing posts that day, dude. That fucking day. And I'm just like, are you kidding? Like, what? And, like, I got responses like, well, you just want to wallow in pity and stuff, and you just want time to stand still and stuff like that. I'm just like, no, I was like, I just think that people deserve to have time to mourn this fucking legend, dude.
Right.
Well, let's be honest, he is King T'Challa, bro. Do you know how much grace you have to be able to perform on the level that he did, to bring characters to life the way he did, to bring meaning to characters the way he did, going through all the shit that he's going through? Not only did we already feel like he was a true king watching it, now think about it, dude. And you guys are sitting there talking about, let's fucking replace him? Like,
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm just like, that shit makes me mad, dude. And I'm just like,
yeah,
are you kidding?
It doesn't make me mad. It's just one of those things where it's like I appreciate the fact that none of these people actually get to make these decisions, because it doesn't matter what they think at the end of the day, right? Like, they're not the people that are going to ultimately, like, posting continuous pictures of Shuri and saying I've seen the picture going around and everybody's like, they better not recast, they better do this, they better do that. Well, the brilliant thing for you guys is you don't get a fucking choice. You can shit post all you want and it won't make a difference to what Disney ends up doing. And Disney isn't going to sit here and worry about what people are saying online. They're going to take the time to also mourn this amazing actor that they've lost. Who was a friend to probably people working there, a friend to his coworkers in the Avengers and other movies, including in Black Panther and everything else. These are people that appreciate him for the talent he did, that appreciate him for the human he was, and they're going to continue to try to extend that legacy through what they do and how they live their lives. And Disney's going to make up their own choices. And if they want to recast him, they will. Who gives a fuck what people on social media say? And if they choose to move on in a different position, they will. Who gives a fuck what we say or anybody else says? Like, that's why, I agree with you. It's not the time or place to discuss this, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we think anyway. Like, why don't we just appreciate the human and the actor that this person was? Like, why do we have to immediately start talking about, oh, well, what's going to happen to Black Panther? Like, you'll find out when it happens. Stop asking questions now. You're not going to get the answers to anyway.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly, dude. It just feels like absurdly insensitive. And, like, I've never really been one for being, like, overly, like, sensitive to how everyone feels, because I have, like, very strong opinions and stuff like that. But, like, when it comes to, like, things like this, it's just, like, there's, like, a level of, like, sensitivity that you need to like carry about yourself to like navigate like talking about things like this. So it's just like,
Well,
I just think like the level of insensitivity is just like absurd, dude.
I think this is just America 2020, like not just America, the world. Like whenever you bring up an important topic, people try to deflect from that topic by bringing up something that they feel is related, but is really not even significant to the conversation that needs to be had. We talked about this when it came to the racial injustice stuff and systematic racism and all this stuff, and people want to say, well, what about black on black crime? There's a room for discussion on that. It has nothing to do with systematic racism. It has nothing to do with it. So again, this is one of those things. Talking about the replacement for Chadwick Boseman has nothing to do with talking about and remembering and appreciating the work that Chadwick Boseman did. Like, they seem related because, yes, he was Black Panther. So, of course, we're going to talk about who's going to be Black Panther next. But they're unrelated. Like, we need to take time to appreciate what Chadwick Boseman did and how amazing, again, like what Scott said, he made Black Panther. He was T'Challa. He exuded this grace and he carried this mantle, and it was amazing and brilliant and beautiful to see. And I will still say to this day, Black Panther is one of the only MCU films that literally transcends what it means to be a comic book movie. And that's what makes it so special. And Chadwick Boseman was the perfect person to do that.
And we talked about it on this podcast when we reviewed Black Panther, how transcendent the film was. Like, here in America, hardly ever is like real, like, African root, like, pride shown, dude, amongst like any community, really. I don't even want to just pin it to like the African American community, but any community in America, like, it's pretty rare that you see like people show like their pride from where their ancestry comes from and stuff like that. And I don't know the word for the style of clothing, but dude, literally it was news stories after news stories after news stories after news stories about how people watching this film felt such amazing pride from like where their ancestors came from. They actually started wearing like the same similar clothing that you see in the movie, that you actually see in the different, like African countries and stuff. Like, you see, like, it swept across not only just America, but swept across the world. Like, people were dressing up and stuff, and not as like the characters, but for the pride of where the people come from. Right. You know, so this movie truly transcended like just the comic book genre from. You know, obviously it's a huge subject in America today, how disenfranchised like the African American community feels in America today. And in like that little moment in history, they didn't feel that way. They felt nothing but pride from like where they came from, and it felt like it gave them a voice and stuff like that. And I just think it was really, in that moment, people, I can't even explain it. It was something special, bro.
Yeah.
And that word isn't even like strong enough of a word to like describe like what happened, the movement that happened.
Right. Well, I mean,
Wakanda Forever, literally trending on the internet.
Right.
A made-up place. People want to represent this made-up place because it represents many different cultures of where they come from and stuff, and that's like amazing and special. And without Chadwick Boseman, I don't think it's really all that possible, dude.
Right. Well, I mean, even talking about like, it's not just, obviously racism is not just an American issue. But when you talk about the portrayal of African Americans in American culture and American media, a lot of movies that center around black stories, if you will, focus on people in the ghetto or focus on poor black people or people, things of this nature. Whereas Black Panther, had elements of that, but it's a story about people of color and power, and that there's a pride that comes with
and
that,
nobility and royalty and honestly, like, in America, they don't receive those sort of messages in films and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Like at
always
all.
like it's always movies, you know, and obviously there's a place for it because it is true. There's a lot of, you know, poor people of color in this country, and their stories are important too. But we don't tell enough stories about people of color having power and showing their power. And you know, obviously we can talk about Martin Luther King and things like that. But when you see a movie of this character in power who is a person of color and all these other great tribes and everything else in these African cultures, and look at the different ideologies, obviously between, you know, T'Challa and Killmonger, like these are real issues, like, and these are real ideologies that people can understand and relate to and apply to the real world, and that's what makes it so special. You know, and like we said when we first reviewed Black Panther, we talked about how amazing Michael B. Jordan was. But both Scott and I said the only person who stands out more than him in this movie as an actor is Chadwick Boseman.
Straight up. Facts. 100%. I mean, what more can we say, to be honest? I was just...
Yeah.
He was terrific, man, and definitely will be missed. That's for sure, dude. I don't think people... And, like, I think, like, for somebody like me, like, I have always been, like, somebody who wears, like, the emotions on the sleeve sort of thing. And, like, for me, it's just, dude, that shit hit me so, like, hard. I don't know why, dude. I fucking cried, man. Like, I was, like, fucking depressed, dude. I was, like, really sad about it, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really, like, emotional. Like, just like, oh, man, like, this shit has, like, made such an impact on my life, dude, in, like, such a positive way that, like, when a loss like that feels like it's really, like, as a loss to me, you know?
Yeah, it feels like, you know, it reminds you about the fragility of life and you know, that our time here is not permanent, and it's important to make the most of our opportunities and take advantage of the time we have to appreciate the people we love and really, you know, focus on what's important and not on all the toxicity in the world and all the bad things that are happening around us. Not the fact that our state is on fire and we can't breathe outside and we can't go anywhere and do anything. You know, like, it's important for us to live life.
The state of this world is, like, a perfect example. Like, I can't stand, like, those statements that they're like, oh, they're just superheroes, or like, oh, it's just a game, you know? Like, not to everyone, though. You know, it's like, yeah, it might be that to you, but for me, it has a completely different meaning, dude. Like comic books and superheroes and shit got me through some really fucking dark-ass shit in my life, dude, and fucking not a lot of shit that I really even talk about that often to, like, anybody, you know?
Right.
But fucking went through, like, major fucking depression, dude, fucking through that. And the culture, the superheroes, the characters, the friends that I made, all helped me through that.
Yeah,
and
man.
for, like, somebody to, like, to say, oh, it's just a character, or it's just, you know, like, it's not that big of a deal or whatever, it's just like,
right, which...
Not to me, dude.
Yeah, I mean, to some people, yeah, it's not a big deal, but to the people, it is a big deal. I mean, we're all different in a lot of ways, and the things that someone finds important, we might not find important, and vice versa. So, you know, like, for you and I mean, we spent so many days, so many nights in comic book stores, or you know, hanging out and, like, doing nerd shit, like going to premieres of movies and superhero movies and everything else, and those are things that are important to us, and those are the things that get us through day-to-day life.
Exactly. And there's so many countless stories just like it. It reminds me of like a story arc in Smallville, a television show about Superman, in case you guys don't know what that is, and if you don't, come on, dude, what are you doing with your life? And no, I think the whole series is on Hulu if you guys do want to check it out. But anywho, so basically there's like a kid that, like, runs away and, like, gets, like, crosses, like, Clark Kent's path, and, you know, pretty much he saves him and stuff, and, like, he has, like, telepathic powers, and so, like, he feels, like, overwhelmed a lot by, like, the fact that he even has these powers, and he never feels like he has, like, any moment's peace and like the people who like are supposed to be his like foster parents like find out he has the ability and like try to take advantage of him, and like he like copes with being like abused and mistreated and stuff through like a comic book series. I believe it's called like Archangel or something like that in the TV show. It's not a real comic book series, but yeah, and like it's just like such a fantastic example of like the representation of like what it does for so many comic book fans.
Right.
It's that escape. It's that one reliable thing that gets you through every day. And it's so much more than just a story.
Yeah, I mean, and for
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I was never really like bullied as a kid for liking comic books or anything. Like a lot of people are, but I was never really bullied for it. And maybe it's because I was always like taller than most of the people in my class and stuff. But like no one really ever bullied me. But like I'd get comments from like people in my family, like about like how I need to grow up and how I need to stop talking about Comic-Cons and doing stuff like this. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. Like it's like these are things that do something for us. Like reading like comic books might not feel relatable to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, a lot of comic books tell human stories, and we're human, right? And you know, I always think like anytime we talk about stories or you know superheroes, comic books, Star Wars, etc., I always am reminded of the quote from Samwise Gamgee about stories that mean something, right? And you know, he's like, all these people like have chances of turning back, but they keep going because they're fighting for something and they believe that there's good in the world and everything else. And like that's a real thing. That's a human thing. That's a human experience where we realize that like we need to keep going. We can't just give up. We need to keep fighting every day of our lives, keep living every day of our lives to make sure we create better lives for ourselves and our families and do things that mean something to us. And that's why these stories mean something to us.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, like, basically back to the original point is, he was more than just a character in a film one time in history, you know? There's so much more than that to me.
Yeah.
So, like, I was fucking devastated, dude, when I found out. I was just like, I remember because, like, I was over at my grandma's, I think. Yeah, I was at my grandma's house. I spent the night because I had to take her to the airport the next day. And you had hit me up. And then, like, not within 10 minutes later, like, my girlfriend hit me up and was, like, telling me, and, like, dude, I was, like, a fucking wreck, dude. I was, like, and, like, I just remember, like explaining to her, like, how I was feeling and stuff, and, like, how, like, it just means, like, so much more and stuff, and like it was crazy, dude. And like what like made me like hella proud is like I felt like for once she actually understood what I meant, like when like sometimes she's like, oh, it's just a game or whatever, you know, and I'm like, nah, it's more than that, you know.
Right.
And like because like the very like next day, like I think like the way she's seen that it impacted me, like she finally understood, you know. And like she was like chatting to somebody on like Facebook, and they're bringing like something up like about there's like something about Chadwick Boseman and stuff, and like she had basically thought like in the defense of like my position, you know, about like how it means more, and she's like to some people it means so much more and blah blah blah, and she like let me read it and stuff, and I was just like, that felt amazing. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Chadwick Boseman's performance, you know, not just in Black Panther, but his other performances, I mean, you could tell it meant so much to so many people. And might not even meant the same thing to everybody. Like, we all have our different interpretations of things, and things mean something to us differently. So it's just amazing to see, you know, how many people were touched by his performances in his life. And obviously he'll be dearly missed, and yeah, but that's...
if I'm not mistaken, Marvel did make a decision on what they're going to do with the character, though, right? I think I read something about that.
I don't think anything's been confirmed. I haven't seen,
Okay.
but if you know
Okay.
something I
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's right or not or whatever,
don't.
but
Yeah.
anywho, yeah, we'll just deal with that at a different time then.
Yeah.
Mm. But
But
yeah, I mean, we
yeah,
should all
yeah.
just take the time to remember Chadwick Boseman and what he did for the world and what he meant to all of us and how amazing he was, how much grace and honor he had. And, you know, we're only touching on the Black Panther stuff, dude, but I started watching some of those other movies, and they're amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, if you guys get a chance, I would definitely check out his other, you know, his full body of work, because he's amazing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, obviously there's been a lot of news since the last time we talked. The most recent thing would probably be the PS5 event that just happened this past
Right.
week.
Horseshit, dude.
So PS5 is coming out November 12th. Pre-orders was a nightmare, from what I've heard.
Yeah, dude. So I found out about it a day later than apparently the entire world. So I go to like message our friend Shane, who works at a game, you know, at GameStop, and I'm like, all right, I know you probably had 1,000 million billion messages about it already, but like how do you guys have any pre-orders left for the PS5? And he's like, nope. he's like, Sony messed up on how they announced it and like gave the go ahead, and then GameStop then botched it. And apparently Sony or whoever they get the shipment from only like allocated like the equivalent of like 20 systems per store.
Awesome.
I'm just like, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, they're sold out everywhere. And since then, Sony has put out a tweet saying, so this could have gotten a lot better. We're sorry about that, and retailers are going to get more allocated resources for more systems. Please stay in contact with the retailers or whatever for further details or something like that.
Yeah. One of our friends told me, like, he spent, like, 14 hours on Best Buy's website before he got one.
Oh, Jesus. Are you talking about Jamar?
No, I'm talking about Daniel.
Oh, geez. Fuck. Oh, yeah. That's all funny. Yeah, Daniel has been keeping me in the loop and some stuff for it.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the botched release announcements and everything, games that were announced obviously are like Miles Morales, Spider-Man. They showed like gameplay and some cinematics. Final Fantasy 16, and a new like Dark Souls game, right? Was that one of them? They announced a whole bunch of stuff for it. So if you guys are interested, you can check out PS5's event on YouTube and watch all their little videos and stuff.
Right.
Other than
yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for PS5. I'll probably get the PS5 this year.
Yeah, I think like so. The thing that I find interesting is like, you know, PS5 and Xbox One are like they're both releasing one system that has a disc drive and one that doesn't. Is that the case? I don't know about Xbox One, but I know PS5. One of them has a disc drive and one of them is just a digital one. And that's why like the digital one is like $100 less than the one with the disc drive. And so if you're like old school and want to buy discs still, then you might want to spend an extra $100, and if not, then you can get the other one.
But yeah, I'm sure you can still buy everything digitally on the disc drive one.
Yeah.
If it's the additional, you know, a lot of people still like to have the hard copy of the disc and stuff, which I don't blame them. Because, you know, if you ever, like, don't have internet or something, like, you should be able to play, like, most games in offline mode.
Right.
Which, that's pretty much been my entire gaming life since I moved. has been just playing FIFA offline,
Right.
career mode. So,
Nice. Yeah, in
yeah.
other news, I guess some of the older news, there was DC Fandome where they announced a bunch of things, released a Batman trailer, released some Suicide Squad stuff. Gotham Knights, the video game, was announced. What else happened there? There was the Schneider Cut got a trailer. Here's the thing, right? They used the Hallelujah song off that Zack Snyder also used in Watchmen, but it's one of the most overplayed songs in the history of songs. So like that kind of annoyed me just in general. But are you excited at all about a Snyder Cut of Justice League? Do you care about it? Is this important or?
No, I could give two shits less, dude. There's no way you can slice, cut, or edit this to be any better of a film, dude. I don't care. Dude, this is like, for like instance, like in sports, especially like Premier League soccer, like the team to most people is like a religion. It's like that team is like their religion. They swear by it. They won't say anything bad about the team, no matter how awful they are, how much they disagree internally, but like externally, they won't voice their opinion against the club in any sort of negative sort of way. And this is exactly the same thing, dude. There's people that are so excited about it because they swear up and down that the original was so fucking good, and yet it was so crap. It was so garbage, dude. And like anybody I really honestly talk to about it, like, will finally just admit, once I talk to them a little bit, they're like, yeah, it kind of was crap. You know, it's just like they have this like sort of like sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they feel the need to like stay loyal to them.
Yeah, well,
and they feel like if they say anything bad, that's not them being loyal.
Yeah, I don't know. Most people, like, I feel like hated Justice League, and the rumors are like only 25% of what Zack Snyder shot is actually in it, and the rest is like WB and Joss Whedon, and that's why it's so bad. And this one is going to be 4 1-hour episodes of the movie or something. It's going to be like a 4-hour cut of the movie with all of Zack Snyder's stuff, and he's gonna do it justice and all this stuff, and I'll watch it. You know, I'll be open minded about it. But I have no like the original version of the film wasn't good, and I like Joss Whedon, and I hate Zack Snyder because of what he did with BVS and things like that. I don't think that's a good movie, but everyone has different opinions, and that's fine. So I'll still watch it. I'll be open minded about it. I still think Ben Affleck looks great in the Batman suit, if that means anything. And I hated the way they portrayed him in Justice League as like this old man who can't fight and is just like always injured. It's kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought it was crap.
Yeah.
So weird, dude.
On the other hand, you know, we got the Batman trailer, and I remember everybody complaining about Robert Pattinson, and you and I were on the same page. You know, we're very open minded. You know, have faith in him because aside from Twilight, he's done a lot of really good things. He's not a bad actor, and holy shit, that was a fucking amazing trailer.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh my god. I was like, what the fuck? What is happening?
Yeah, I just remember people like, I don't want a sparkly vampire as Batman, and like, it's like people are talking shit before they even see him. Like, I'll admit some of the pictures of him in the suit didn't look that good. But on camera, like in the videos, it looks so good.
Right.
So.
Okay, you just gotta give it a chance, keep an open mind and stuff. You don't really know. Like how, you know, I mean, I fully expect the Snyder Cut to be ass. I'm still gonna watch it though.
Right.
Just to see if there's anything truly different about it. Mainly just so I can say I told you so.
Right.
I can just be like, I fucking told you. It's no matter how you chop up shit, it's still shit.
Yeah. I mean, on the "I told you so" note, I mean, I haven't said this on the podcast because we haven't podcasted in a while, but I've continuously told our friend Daniel that movies like Wonder Woman and Black Widow are gonna be pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And if you guys didn't know, they've been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back to next year now. So I guess that's news as well. The Mandalorian's coming. Season 2 is coming out on October 30th, which is awesome because season 1 was great. Did you watch season 1?
Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was great.
Oh, yeah. I remember. We talked about it a little bit, yeah. Yeah.
I don't particularly care for how it ended, to be honest, but yeah. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, the trailer for season 2 came out. It looks awesome. It looks like they're trying to bring Baby Yoda to go find his Jedi family. So, also on the Star Wars news, there's some controversy happening. John Boyega did an interview with GQ talking shit about Disney and how they misused his character and didn't know what to do with him. Had people trying to work on him that didn't know how to cut black hair, and it's kind of embarrassing that a company like Disney would fall into a trap like this. And really, again, I agree with everything John Boyega said because it's evident that they didn't. Okay. I'm gonna keep a level head when I talk about these new Star Wars movies, but it's very, very, very clear that they did not have a plan from the start. J.J. Abrams wanted to make The Force Awakens and be done and never come back to it. There was never oversight from Lucasfilm or Disney on what to do next, so they gave Rian Johnson creative ability to do what he wanted. And then J.J. Abrams came back and had to make another movie that kind of tried to tie pieces together. Finn's character started off very interesting and very, very cool, just like Poe, just like Rey. These are 3 characters that by the end, they feel like they didn't have satisfying arcs. Like, Finn should have definitely started doing some Jedi training or something at some point. Like, we skip a whole movie of his arc, and it ends badly, and it's evident based on what John Boyega said and what Disney did that they didn't know what to do with his character.
Right.
And when you have a franchise like Star Wars that's so big and means so much to so many people, and you don't even take the time to put a story together and know what characters are going to do from beginning to end, from movie 7 to movie 9, then you are disrespecting the fans.
True. I totally agree with that statement.
Not only that, right?
I mean, it's super clear that they just never had a direction, and especially with John Boyega's character and stuff. You could just tell, Finn was just the way they had started his story arc. He was supposed to be so much more important in the films.
Yeah.
And yet he wasn't. And eventually the transition started in number 2, and then totally in number 3 just fell to the wayside. They just didn't really know what to do with him creatively. So they're just you know what? We're just not going to do anything with him.
Right. And the thing
is,
they
half-assed tried to come up with this love interest between 2 different characters, and totally just burnt out and was just what the fuck happened? And it was just it was very muddled, and it was just really weird.
Yeah.
How they handled not only his character too, but Poe as well.
Right. And that's the thing is Poe is this character that's kind of interesting in The Force Awakens, and then kind of annoying and bad in the next movie, and then in the last movie you find out all this history about him. You're this arc should have been built across 3 movies, but we're getting it in one. And I remember after The Force Awakens came out, and then The Last Jedi came out, and people kept saying J.J. Abrams had plans for Snoke, and J.J. Abrams had plans for Rey's parents, and J.J. Abrams had these plans, and Rian Johnson ruined it all. You cannot ruin something that never existed, because Daisy Ridley in an interview 2 weeks ago came out and said before they filmed Episode 9, they toyed with the idea of her being nobody. They toyed with the idea of her being a Kenobi. They toyed with the idea of her being a Palpatine. 2 weeks into filming, J.J. Abrams came to her and said, we don't like the Palpatine idea. We're going to do something else. Halfway through filming, she found out Palpatine's her grandpa. There was never a plan. Never. And it really frustrates me when people say, JJ set up so much and they ruined it. JJ wanted to be one and done. He didn't care what they did after what he did. He didn't care. And Disney obviously didn't care. And Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm didn't care. Nobody cared. They just knew they're going to make money, so they put out a product.
Right. Dude, and that's why, like, believe it or not, like, J.J. Abrams probably wasn't even their first, second, or third choice, like, director, more than likely. Like, when these things happen, like, they go through, like a mill of, like, choices, you know? And a lot of times, believe it or not, they get denied. Like there's directors and writers and stuff that don't want to do it because they're not sure enough about their ability and they don't want to disrespect the franchise. Believe it or not, it really happens. I would fucking put my paycheck on it, dude.
Yeah. Well, even J.J. Abrams didn't want to do it, but you know, eventually he did.
But he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
If he wasn't going to stick through for all the films and have a creative vision, because obviously they wanted multiple films, but they didn't have a vision for all the films.
Right. Well, even when they bought Star Wars and George Lucas told him, "I'll help you with the films you want to make," I had a plan for them. They told him, "Okay, we'll look into it," and then they just threw it out the window. They didn't care. They didn't want to use his plans, which is fine. But to just not even put out anything with an actual plan, that's why you can ask yourself, like, why does Disney have some hit and miss Star Wars stuff? Why are the movies not so good? But The Mandalorian is one of the best things to ever come from Star Wars, and it really is the people running it. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who are doing The Mandalorian, had a plan for it from start to finish. That's why it's good. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
They invite in new fans while also providing stuff for hardcore Star Wars fans. And that is a balance that's really hard to strike, and that's why The Mandalorian works so well. But anyway, I think that's it for Star Wars news, but there's this whole big investigation going on because Ray Fisher has alleged things against Warner Brothers, Joss Whedon, John Berg, Jeff Johns, and Warner Brothers DC as a whole. And so there's an investigation going on, and it's a bunch of tit for tat, and I'm not going to get into any of it because until the facts come out, I don't have an opinion on it. I think if there's been instances of racism or anything on set, then that obviously needs to be addressed, and hopefully an investigation comes out. You and I have talked a lot of shit about Warner Brothers and how dysfunctional they are and how they don't really know what to do with DC. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's been some abuse on set. So.
Okay.
But I mean,
yeah.
he says.
Well, I mean, obviously, not even hearing of the story, not really knowing any details, I don't really have an opinion.
Yeah, there are no details. He says he can't say anything because of a non-disclosure agreement he signed. But there's Warner Brothers opened an investigation, and then there's like rumors like, oh, we tried to reach out to him to talk, and he didn't want to talk to the investigator, and then he's like, well, it's because I wanted a third-party investigator, but Warner Brothers hired someone in their investigation department, so I didn't want to talk to him, and it's like, it's all he says, she said right now, and until the facts come out, I have no opinion on it, you know, like that, and same with you, obviously, like if you don't know something, you can't have an opinion on it, so.
Well, I mean, so there is like allegations of like racial abuse or
there's just allegations of like
misconduct or whatever it is. I mean, it's coming out WB, DC, and stuff like that. Like, it just does not surprise me whatsoever.
Right.
They're so dysfunctional as a studio and as a project. Like, how could you expect anything less, to be honest? Like, I mean, I'm not taking any sides because obviously I don't know any facts, and I don't know these people, so how can I pass judgment on something I don't really know? But the revolving door that is actors, directors, writers,
yeah.
Do you expect anything less, to be honest? I don't. So right now, I'm like more leaning towards whatever's being said. Probably true.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know anything. I don't know any facts. So
yeah, I mean,
as that stuff comes out and stuff, and as we do another podcast on it at some point, I will probably definitely have a better formed opinion.
Right. I maybe I'm reading too much into it with saying maybe it's some racial stuff, but pretty much what he said is like it's unprofessional, like it's an unprofessional like set, and Joss Whedon's making comments about how shit Zack Snyder's version was and things like that, and like it's one of those things. It's like I'm sure some of that's true, but is it a big deal? Maybe, maybe not. Like I don't know until I get actual details. Like I can full-heartedly believe that people say stupid shit on set. Like I'm sure it's not just Whedon and everything else, but we'll have to see what happens. Chris Hemsworth says that Thor: Love and Thunder will not be his last Marvel movie, which is cool because we all love Chris Hemsworth as Thor.
Thank goodness. Oh man, I mean he's a genius. Especially like I think like honestly, probably the most underrated performance in Avengers Part 1 and 2 would probably be Thor. Super underrated, like especially like the depression stuff he went through and stuff, and like that's like directly pulled from comic books and stuff. Like he went through like similar things and whatnot.
Right.
And I just like feel like as a character he's like massively underappreciated.
Yeah. I think Chris Hemsworth is like he's done an amazing job.
Thor's like,
oh yeah,
Thor's
yeah.
Not favorite characters.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
Yeah. Well, Thor is like he's an interesting character when he's done right, and you know Marvel's not always done a great job with Thor, but yeah, I think he does really well in the ensemble films, and obviously Thor Ragnarok is one of the best MCU films. So, yeah, Thor, great. Can't wait to see more of him as well. Very exciting news on the MCU front with Kang the Conqueror being cast for Ant-Man Season 3. Jonathan Majors is going to be playing Kang the Conqueror. And for you guys who might not know, Kang is actually like a high-level villain in the MCU. Not the MCU, but in Marvel Comics. And he probably will be like your next...
He's a long-standing Avengers villain.
Yeah, he deals a lot with like Fantastic Four and Inhumans and things like that, but he's been a big like universe-wide villain. So, you know, he's one of those characters that you can definitely see being the next big bad of the next course of Marvel movies, not just in Ant-Man 3. He'll be in other movies for sure. I think he's your next kind of Thanos figure, and he's almost more interesting because he kind of deals with like time travel as well, like rewriting history, like doing like just crazy shit. Like Kang is a really powerful villain, and yeah, I think it'll also open the door for introducing certain Fantastic Four characters into the MCU.
Yeah, and didn't like he pretend to be like Iron Lad during one story arc?
It's possible.
Yeah, like he had like posed himself as like the person who is like Iron Lad and stuff, because like you know he can time travel and stuff like that.
Right.
So like for a while he was Iron Lad too.
Yeah. Kang is a big high-level villain, so very exciting stuff there. We're also seeing George St. Pierre come back as Batroc the Leaper in The Falcon and Winter Soldier. If you guys don't know who Batroc is, he fought Captain America at the beginning of Winter Soldier on the boat. Did all the little flippies and jumpies and stuff. So, that's cool. That's cool. Apparently WandaVision is still coming out later this year. Who knows if that'll happen or not with everything going on, but we're looking forward to that. There was something else. Oh yes, what's her name? Tatiana Maslany has been cast as She-Hulk. So I mean she's kind of small, but I'm not too concerned about the look of the actress. Like I never watched Orphan Black, which is like what she's most famous for, but a lot of people are very excited about her being cast, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, we have a She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Rawr. I mean, in digital age and stuff, they can edit and whatnot. I mean, look how massive they made Chris Evans look.
Yeah.
Originally, which they had to tone that shit back in the later films.
Right.
Like, remember, like, when he first took the super soldier serum, like, how, like, inflated his muscles looked like? He looked like one of those, like stereotypical, like, WWE, like, steroid users.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
just, like, straight up, like, have you ever seen, like, dude, yeah, steroid users, that's, like, pretty much how their muscles actually look. Just look like they fucking injected fucking, like, water into their muscles.
yeah.
Like a damn balloon.
I think that Chris Evans is one hell of a man, if I'm honest with you. But I have some exciting news for you in particular. So New York Comic Con has announced.
My body's ready.
New York Comic Con has announced their first wave of virtual panels, right? So they're gonna do virtual panels for Comic Con, obviously, because people can't go. But they're gonna do a Smallville panel with Tom Welling, right? Erica Durance, Sam Witwer, Laura Vandervoot, and Michael Rosenbaum. So what is that? Clark Kent, Lex Luthor, Lois Lane, Supergirl, and apparently Sam Witwer was Davis Bloom / Doomsday. So,
which I hated that story. I kind of did. I thought it was so terribly done. But anyway,
yeah. So this doesn't say. I don't see a date where this is taking place, but it's gonna be during New York Comic Con. So let me see.
I wonder how they're gonna handle that. Like, obviously, there's gonna be a special web address or whatever. Like, are they gonna have like numbered like entries? Like you gotta pay for it to watch it. Like, how is it gonna work?
I think it's just gonna be streamed online. Hold on. Here's your chance at me. Blah blah blah. Maybe you have to buy tickets. I don't know. Okay, this is at the end. New York Comic Con and MCM Comic Con's Metaverse will be held from October 8 to 11. So that's when they'll be. But it doesn't say anything about tickets for that necessarily. So yeah, I'm not sure when it actually like how it works. I remember like a couple years ago for San Diego Comic-Con, they would like live stream the panels, but people were obviously paying to be there, so now they're losing money, so maybe they're not going to live stream them without people paying to get in. But
yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, like directly, like how are they going to profit from this or whatever. I mean, maybe they're not really too interested, but doubtful.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll
I mean,
be
that'd
like
be super nice, dude. If they just like let anybody watch, and they just like if they did like a YouTube or like a Twitch style stream where people donate in their questions, and those are the only questions they read.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, they wouldn't be able to get through all of them, but like
I'm sure it'll be something like that. Like there's some concerts that have happened that like you can pay like $10 to $30 or whatever to like watch it either live streamed, or you have up to 2 days to watch it, and you can like participate in the chat and stuff. But you just pay like the entry fee to get in, and then you sign in like the day of or whatever, and you can watch it and participate. But I don't know if they're gonna do something like that.
Right.
So, because obviously no one's gonna be there. Like it's all probably gonna be over Zoom or something. So at least they don't have to pay the fees for like hosting or like renting out the fucking shop or the convention center. So that should save them some money. But yeah, there's definitely a lot going on.
Should be interesting to see how they handle it, what all the details are, the specifications and whatnot.
Right.
I'm definitely interested. Well, mainly interested in that panel. But
yeah, I mean, like a lot of times panels are things that it's like they might sound interesting and just be not interesting, or they might sound boring and be interesting. Like it always depends. So like for something like this, it's like if you're already there, you might just show up to a random panel that is whatever and enjoy it. But if you have to pay money like for each individual panel or however it works, like you're just gonna buy the ones that you're interested in. So
right, yeah, or maybe it's just gonna be like I would assume that, like, because it's going to be digital and there's going to be, like, high-volume traffic and stuff, because there'll be, like, new people coming in that would have never even went to Comic-Con because they can't make it, So, like, assumingly, like, they would make, like, virtual tickets more affordable. I would assume like maybe $5 is reasonable.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty reasonable as an entry, and then you should get all access to everything. We should do virtual like tours of things and like obviously virtual panels and whatnot and press conferences or whatever have you.
Right. Excuse me. I yawned.
Oh, how dare you?
Yeah, I mean that pretty much covers most of the news that's been going on. But on the movie front, Wonder Woman's pushed back to Christmas, and Black Widow's pushed back to next year. So who knows what's going to happen in the next couple months with our society and our world. But hopefully things happen that are good, not bad. So, yeah, that wraps up the news. Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah. Sorry, what was that last part? Somebody was like talking.
No
trying
worries.
to get away from them.
No worries.
Sorry if that bled through you guys.
Yeah. Well, we're all wrapped up with news, so I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything.
Nope. That just about covers. I think talked about everything I wanted to regarding Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman passing away. R.I.P. Get all my thoughts across and everything. So I don't got anything else.
No, that's it. So, thank you everyone who's listened and engaged with us. You can follow us on Twitter at Nerdy Boys Review, and Facebook and Instagram as well, Nerdy Boys Reviews. And check out Scott's YouTube channel, Weight Loss Hero, to follow his weight loss journey. If you're interested in Star Wars talk, you can check out my other podcast, Across the Stars, all about Star Wars shit.
Which I plan to get on soon.
Yes, yep. We'll have to get you on soon. I've done a bunch of random topics, like talking shit about the sequels, talking about how bad Star Wars relationships are, just talking bad things about Star Wars because I love Star Wars, obviously. No. But, yeah, there's some good stuff, way I say too. But, yeah, you can check that out. And, obviously, thank you, everyone, for listening to us and keep supporting us through everything. Obviously, we've told you before, we're not going to be able to podcast every weekend or, whatever. Like, it's just when we have time, because Scott obviously has a family. I have life responsibilities as well. Like, whenever our schedules line up, we'll definitely do this more. But, you have to bear with us. And thank you for everyone who has and continues to. You guys rock.
Yes, you guys are awesome, and we appreciate your continued support as always. I think you guys are awesome, and amazing, and wonderful. Oh, and by the way, so you guys should also follow my personal, just my Instagram account, okay? So it's Captain Hot Sauce, and there's a reason for this. So I've been really motivated just to put out content in general, and this came about through watching entrepreneur on, well, he's just world famous, honestly, Gary Vee. And he talks about the importance of, like, if you want to put out content, just fucking put out content, Yeah. He's like, just do it, And so I was thinking, well, okay, well, what do I have to offer in terms of Instagram? And then my one of my best friends, Jamel, he always, like, posts about, like, on Facebook, he always, like, put, like, real good morning posts and, like, positivity and stuff, and kind of inspired me to do a little segment I do on my Instagram every day. It's a video. I also post it on my Facebook, but just follow the Instagram. It's Captain Hot Sauce. The message of the day, and it's a message about positivity for the day. There are different messages. Sometimes they're the same messages, but just worded differently and things like that. And just, try to be a little bit more positive and try to spread some positivity. We obviously live in a pretty shitty world, to be honest. And I feel like everyone can use a little bit more positivity. So if you guys are interested, go follow my Instagram account, Captain Hot Sauce.
Yeah, we could all use a little positivity in our crazy world right now with hurricanes and flooding and fires and COVID and all the other.
It's almost like it's the end of time.
Yeah,
Oh God, please don't let that be true.
My fiance's family is very religious, and they keep talking about like this is the end times and the rapture and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, like I get it, but like at the same time, it's like these things happen all the time in our world. Like, just bad things happen sometimes, and you have to roll with the punches, and you have to overcome and adapt, and don't let it define you. Become a better person. Keep moving. Keep fighting for what's important to you, and don't lose sight of your priorities just because you hit some bumps and bad things are happening around you, or you feel like you can't go to the gym and stuff like that. Like, you can always find ways to continue your progress in life and continue being a better person and making better choices day to day. And despite everything that's happening, don't let it become an excuse for you not to improve your life.
Exactly, man. And that's what I talk about a lot on my message of the day. They're usually like 30 to 45-second clips. It doesn't take that long to watch them, but I want to reach more people. So, yeah, go follow my account.
Yeah.
And then I also do like personal like picture posts and stuff about me, or my son or my girl or whatever. I decide to post on Instagram. Pretty sporadic. Up until message of the day, I'd hardly ever even post on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So,
and I would plug my Sacramento Kings fan channel, but due to some naming issues, I'm gonna have to rename the channel. So when that's up and running at some point during another podcast, I'll probably plug that channel as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, stay tuned for that announcement, guys, and thank you again to everybody who's tuned in. Make sure you follow us on everything because we need it. I'm just kidding. Like, subscribe.
Because we're thirsty.
Rate, do all those things. And we definitely appreciate you guys. And we're going to leave you with the same message we always leave you with, and that is stay nerdy, boys. We can't do it in sync because we're not together, but it's okay.
Damn it. I know you guys always thought that, it was pre-recorded. No, let me tell you, that was a well-timed Stay Nerdy, boys.
Yeah. No editing, no outtakes, nothing.
But we used to do it in person, but now we have to do it over the phone and stuff. So
when we're in person, we can look.
We're not looking at each other.
We can look into each other's eyes, get a gist for how we're gonna say it, and it's just bam, we got it. But when we're not in person, like we don't know what's happening, what's going through the other person's mind. Are they gonna say it all together? Are they gonna extend every word? Who knows? So hey, you get what you get.
Yeah, don't throw a fit.
All right.
All right. Anyways, see y'all later.
Peace.